Good morning. It's November 18th, about 9:20 a.m. And I just want to show some videos from the last day and a couple days here of some of the organized stalking that's been going on. They're very bold and right in front of me and my daughter. My daughter says just ignore them, but I'm just so used to seeing this that I'm kind of sensitized to it. They know that, so they keep putting it in my face, but they're also putting it on my dash cam. So I just want to point out these few things that happened. Just a bit of background on this, so I believe I know why some of it's happening. They're obviously spying on us in our business, my wife and myself. You can see that on the video Garbage Day. There's in the second half of the video, there's the police there. We were talking about the police, and I wasn't saying nice things about them, and then all of a sudden they appear. So that's kind of interesting. And then we run this business here in Surrey. There's a lot of East Indian people that live here. They're not our best customers. A lot of them, for some reason, declined to order our food after they discovered that we're not East Indian. We had a guy come and he was making comments, why aren't you busy? All the East Indian pizzerias are busy. Why aren't you busy? And anyways, I explained to him that I'm doing this for mostly for something to do, to distract myself. I didn't explain to him really what the distraction was for, but I explained I'm sort of semi-retired and I'm doing this as a retirement project. So I'm not that concerned about being busy. Also, if I'm really busy, I'm more stressed for us. You know, the money's important, but you get to a point in your life where you realize that chasing money is not the meaning of life. You have to realize that there's more important things to do. But I've noticed that these people are very cheap, and that they're more concerned about the cost of the product than the actual quality of it. We make a really quality product. I think our price is really fair for what we're giving away, but they, for some reason, always finding it too expensive. And also, when a lot of them, when they realize that I'm not Indian, they hang up the phone or they don't buy the product. So there's a lot of talk here in Canada about discrimination and racism, and it always seems to be focused on the white people like myself being the racist. But I think in this case that they're being the racist. They stick together, which is it's fine with me. Stick together, sure, but why not be inclusive in your things? They have a lot of parties that you see, these tents being set up at their houses, but you never see any Caucasian people at these parties. Or even for the matter of that, there's lots of Chinese and Filipino and black and other nationalities that live in Surrey, and with the Indians, you don't see the mix. You see them only Indians. So that's an indication really of racism there, because why won't they buy my pizza? Mainly because I'm white, I guess. Anyways, I've had some comments, discussions with my wife about it, and they seem to be listening for some strange reason, because I always getting these reactions from them. We were having the discussion yesterday, and right after that I got a call from a guy, and he was like concerned about the price again, and maybe it was a coincidence, but then two Indian girls came and walked in, and that normally doesn't happen here, but they just walked in, and they were really quiet, and they were talking in their language. They weren't speaking in English, even though they spoke English. And then they just turned and walked away, and I said, well, I'm sorry, but is the pizza too expensive for you? I was kind of irritated from all of this treatment that I get from them, so I thought I would kind of make some comments. Normally I don't say nothing publicly or to them, but I thought I would ask them if the pizza was too expensive. And they said, no, you don't have any vegetarian options. I said, it's not true. We have 3 really good veggie pizzas on our menu, and we also have Mexican food that is vegan. We have beans and rice, and everything is vegetarian, but they chose not to order anything, and then they turned their backs, and when they left, they laughed. And so I was kind of offended by that, but obviously they were sent here. And just as she was leaving, she made a comment about the neighborhood, something about the neighborhood. I wanted to get recording, like audio, for our security cameras, but I haven't upgraded them yet. But I didn't capture that audio exactly, but she made a comment, something about the neighborhood. So I guess I'm in the wrong neighborhood. So anyways, this morning I woke up and I drive my daughter to school around 8:20 and 8 a.m. And anyways, when I came out, there was a van parked, and it was parked really strangely, like on an angle, with the back pointing right at where we were, and it was a moving van for a guy. He's a real estate guy, and it's a moving van. He includes it when you buy a house through him. He includes a moving van, and I thought that was kind of strange. It was like they were telling me to move. Anyways, I can't prove any of that, but the van just stayed there the whole time we were getting ready to take her to school, and when I left, he left after. So then when I came back from dropping my daughter, 20 minutes later, 25 minutes later, I was greeted by the garbage trucks again. And this is a week from the day that there was all the barrage of garbage trucks. So I was wondering who runs these trucks. So I was trying to figure out who these people are that are harassing me. And I looked closer today, and I noticed that the drivers of the trucks were both East Indian. And I believe, this is what I heard, that the garbage disposal is run by like a mafia, East Indian mafia. So I'm thinking, well, are they reacting to my conversations with my wife? I don't discuss my views publicly, only in private, and it seems like they're listening to me because I'm getting reactions from them. Yesterday, when I went to the superstore to pick up a few things, people were hoarding stuff now because of the floods here in BC, and people are hoarding things at the store. And there was one East Indian lady, she was hoarding all the milk. She had as many milk as she could fit in a cart. I made a comment to her. I said, why are you hoarding that? It's not really fair to the other people here. And they said that they had a small store that they needed it for. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, but that's like bullshit. You're lying. You're just greedy. And they're always on the take. They always want to take. Anything you're willing to give them for free, they're willing to take it. But when it's time to get something from them, it's like, oh my God, they're like crying, because it's like you're raping them when you're asking them to pay you for your service. And they always, when they come to pay for their pizza here, they always have some look on their face like I'm robbing them or something, and they don't smile. And I'm like, wow, like it's only money. And if you work for a living, you know you have to pay for what you get and what you eat. And I think our products are really fair. I think our portions are big, and honestly, sometimes I wonder if we're even making any money. But they just continue to be super cheap. There's a comedian there. He's Indian. He's from Toronto, but he's second generation, but he's quite funny. Russell Peters, and he jokes. He says that the Indians are the cheapest people on the planet, followed closely behind by the Chinese. So I'm just not a big fan of cheap people, because, you know, to make the world a better place, people need to be more generous with each other and generous with people that are less fortunate than they are. And that's why I really don't like cheap people. And also, I'm in the service business, so when somebody doesn't tip me after I've made a real effort to deliver the food to them, that I expect to be paid for it and rewarded. And 99 or 95% of our customers, they tip. It's not like a huge tips. Occasionally I get a really big tip, but it's usually like $5 or $3, $4, $5. But at least they're recognizing your efforts and adding that to the order. Plus, I don't advertise that I'm the owner when I'm delivering. There's no reason why they should know that I own the business, so there's no reason why they should withhold a tip because I'm the owner. And I don't advertise I'm the owner. So as far as they're concerned and I'm concerned, I'm just the driver for the business. So why wouldn't they tip the driver? So that's another reason why we have trouble keeping drivers, is that these people, they don't tip, and the drivers really depend on this money. So anyways, that's my beef with the East Indian community. Otherwise, I don't really care. They're driving the price of housing up with their speculation, and they're building all these big monstrosity homes, which I don't understand how they afford, but it's not my business. But my wife and I, we want to get a house of some kind, and they've just driven the price over the top. So there's no way I'm going to sign a mortgage for $1.5 million for one of these dumps, and just to live here and be discriminated against. So anyways, this morning I returned and from dropping my daughter, and again the garbage trucks were there. One was waiting at the corner for me right at my street where I turn, and then when I just parked and I was about to get out of the car, another one came up the alley, And so I backed up to show that on the camera, and then he backed up right in front of me, like he didn't care if I was parked there on the side or not. He was going to run over me, and he backed right up, and he kept backing up all the way to pick up our garbage in front of our place. So I just want to talk a little bit about that. And last week there was a barrage. I don't know if it's the same drivers there, and they're definitely Indian. So I'm not can't confirm, but I understand that the garbage trucks in Surrey are run by East Indian mafia organization. So I'm thinking that maybe these guys are spying on us and don't like what I'm saying, so now they're harassing me. So basically what happened yesterday, I went, picked up my daughter from school, and I mentioned to her, would you like to go to the superstore and get something to eat for take home? I wanted to pick up a few things, so that's where we met the lady with the hoarding the milk. So I'm kind of getting off track of my story, but she said that the milk was for her store, which is like a lie. The people are just hoarding stuff because they think that there's going to be food shortages because of the flooding here. So anyways, when we arrived, originally at the store there was a police car parked in front, which is like, it's okay, it's normal, I guess, the police are here. But when I left, the police car was gone, and it was replaced by a garbage truck, and it shows on the video here. And as soon as I start to look at the truck and video it, starts honking his horn, and then he backs up all the way back. My daughter had walked behind the truck, and he starts backing up. And he also was East Indian. So I was thinking, oh, okay, this is interesting. So these trucks now are following me to the fucking supermarket. But why would he be parked in front of the supermarket? There's no dumpsters there. The garbage, I think, is taken from there in the rear. There's no reason to be parked right in front. So that's one anomaly. And I wanted to talk about anomalies because they organize the stalking so it's supposed to look like it's just everyday things to normal people. So if somebody saw that garbage truck there, they might think that's weird, but they wouldn't think, oh, well, they're following somebody with it. But for me, it's different because it's happened so often. So I'm trying to think, what are the odds that it's going to happen when I'm there? What are the odds he's going to start honking his horn when I'm there in front of him and start backing up when I'm there in front of it? He could have backed up before I got out of the store. He could have backed up after I left. It's just strange. And then when I came back yesterday, the truck was, or this morning, sorry, the truck was right there at the corner. Now, he could have been at the corner 10 minutes before I arrived back, and he could have been there 10 minutes after I arrived back, but no, he was at the corner right when I arrived back, and then the other truck came out of the alley right when I was in front outside of the pizza shop. So what I think of what the odds are, and I think, well, is it a coincidence? Because most people, they say that these are coincidences, but they can't be, because what are the chances that all these things are going to be happening right when I'm there to witness them? And now obviously the cameras. So that was strange. And then of course the truck at the supermarket yesterday. And then I continued to have discussions with my daughter in the car about many things. I've been talking about the weather control that they have and the flooding here in BC, and I was talking about how they are using weather control to create these anomalies in the weather so that they can scare people into this global warming narrative. And now they're talking about lockdowns, climate change lockdowns. Like, it's one thing with the virus, and now they're talking about lockdowns. But it's a theory of mine. I've seen a lot of strange things happen with the weather around me and in different places, and I just feel that it's not just global warming. I feel that there's some other interaction going on there with some technology. It's all on the internet anyways. I'll share some links below if anyone's interested in reading about weather control. But I was talking about that, and I was talking about the East Indian lady with the milk, and we were driving up 120th Street on the way back. This was just after we saw the garbage truck, and police comes with his lights and siren and everything, pushing his way up through traffic behind us.
Oh, look.
He didn't start his siren until he was close to us. And then even though I pulled over, he continued to harass us with the lights and the sirens. I thought, oh, well, he's hesitated behind us. Maybe he wants us to pull over. He wants to stop us for some reason. But he continued on past us. The traffic didn't really move out of the way for him. So I don't know where he was going with such a emergency in rush hour traffic, but that was yesterday. And then the day before, I went to a Starbucks, and I just stopped there randomly to get a coffee for waiting for my daughter from school. I was early, so I grabbed a coffee, and just when I was leaving with the coffee, the fire truck arrived in the parking, and all the fire brigades, the guys that work on the truck, they came walking in front of me. You can see that on the video. Also, the other evening I was working on the book on Monday evening, and I was writing. I was only thinking and reading and writing about the weather anomalies that has happened in my life. I found kind of coincidentally strange, and I was thinking about different things, and all of a sudden I hear a kid talking, and I think, oh, it's like a baby, and I look, and I'm right here. If I look this way, it's the front door, and it's glass, so I can see. If I lift my head high enough here, I can see over the counter, and I can actually see outside, but they can't see me because I'm kind of tucked behind where the computer is here. But they came, and they just stood there, and with the kid talking, they didn't ring the doorbell, they didn't try to call, and the lights were off, most of them, so the sign was off. So it was obvious that we weren't like open, because the lights would be on, the door would be open, but they didn't come and try to open the door. They just stood there. And I always, well, it's like a trigger for me with the kid in the stroller, and they like insulting me. And the backpack they're wearing, the guy stood there with his back to me, and he had the backpack on, and it's like they always do that, and it's part of the organized stalking, and they're just being so obvious, so blatant with it. So then another thing happened. If you look at the video about the police, I wrote a letter to the police department. I decided it was time to, because we had this video that was really obvious of the police harassing us, and so I wrote a letter to the police, an email, and I sent a link to the YouTube video, which I'll link below. And it was just a simple video, and it was explaining that while I was out on a delivery, the police came, and then when I arrived back from the delivery, the police came behind me and parked right across the street, right in front of me, like feet from me. And he just sat there. He didn't like say anything, and he was looking at me. And anyways, I see it as like intimidation, harassment. But again, we've been talking about the police, and I wasn't saying nice things about them. And again, it was in private, and it was a private conversation with my wife, so there's no reason anyone should have heard it. But they seem to have heard it, and they reacted to it, because when I went out, I saw several police cars, and then they followed me right back here and got into my face. So anyways, I sent this letter to them, and here it is here. And I'm just trying to be very open about it. If I don't want to say, oh, you're stalking and harassing me, because if I do that, then they're going to play the thing that are you feeling well? Are you taking your medication? Do you have some mental issues? They play that game with you. So I just asked them basically why the police presence. Should we be afraid for our security? Should we be locking our doors and what have you? And then the next day, or the same day actually, I started Googling human rights BC, and they have a tribunal here, and I started to look into how I can file a complaint against the police under human rights violations for harassment. And I actually made an appointment with, they give you a half-hour consultation with some lawyers. So I made an appointment for that. I'll make sure I record that and post it. But I thought maybe this is the way I need to fight back. Getting angry or thinking of ways of revenge is not going to help me. It's just going to drive me down and make me miserable. So I thought, well, I need to stand up and to voice my concerns. So anyways, the police responded with an email and basically said that there was some incident at that time and that they can't disclose what it was. But there was an incident which required their attention, and fortunately it was resolved and everybody was safe. And it was like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting, because you're not willing to tell me what happened and right in my own front yard. It's a secret. So how does that help me with my security? If there was a security issue, what should I be watching out for? Maybe I can help you. Maybe you're looking for somebody in a black pickup truck, for example, or somebody in a cube van with real estate advertising on it, or you're looking for something there. Maybe my security cameras captured it for you. Maybe I can help you find the culprit of your emergency. But I don't see it that way. I see them just sending the letter back to cover themselves on it, and that they show that they responded to my inquiry, and they're covering what they were really up to, and that is harassment and invasion of privacy. And that's the issue.